Hey kids, Princess here, how's it going? I'm alright. I've been crying. I'm upset. And, I want to talk about daddies and why I call the men who love me daddy. Some people think it's silly to call somebody that's not your father your daddy. For me, it's been a very important tool in discerning who to share my time with and who to trust. Daddy for me represents the idea of a caring and loving adult male figure who's responsible and would never let anything happen to you, to me. My life has been very difficult from birth, but as many have. But my father has disowned me because I'm transgendered, and he is no longer my father. But more importantly, I can't rely on him for anything in my life. And my life has been so hard these last 3 years. I almost killed myself twice. I got diagnosed as severely mentally ill. I'm on psychoactive medicine in order to keep me from going crazy or violent. My house has been in bankruptcy. You know, my house was in foreclosure. I lost one house, almost lost this house in foreclosure, had to go to bankruptcy. I lost all my friends when I decided to accept myself as a woman. Not all of them. It's just, even those that still love me don't understand me or feel comfortable with me because they had bought into the man. That's who they wanted or know and can relate to. So in this life, it's been really difficult for me, and I've craved not just attention but acceptance and love and security, a sense of security. When I came out in the gay community attacked me multiple times, and I had to fight in order to be a part of the community or be seen as a part of the community. They took my wig, tried to bully me. There's a hierarchy, and I wasn't a part of it. Trans people are not a part of that hierarchy. Generally, we look like a mess when we come out. The drag queens disdain us, and everybody else, if they don't think we're just plain weird and ugly, want to fuck us and treat us like sluts. Sissies. And basically abuse us. And in that environment, it's been very difficult for me to come to terms with the person I want to be. Luckily I'm strong enough to defend myself, and I'm still standing. Despite the violence But emotionally, I would be nowhere without my daddies. Even financially, I'd be nowhere. This month in July, if it weren't for my daddy, I'd have reverted into foreclosure again on this house, because it's not that people won't hire you as a transgendered person, because some people will, not everybody, but you can get a job if you feel comfortable and if you've gotten to the point where people kind of consider you passing, and that just meaning that you don't look like a slob, I guess, because despite how womanly I think I am, people always calling me he and him. But not my daddies. My daddies see me as a woman. And my daddies see me as a beautiful person that needs help and support and love. And they don't treat me like a slut or a freak. They hold me and love me and uplift me. And I wish I could say the same about my father, who I can't say that about, who my whole life has tried to beat this person down. Like, woman, you see, this spirit. Not to beat it down necessarily. I mean, I love my dad. It's just, I don't know. He's freaked out by me and was always worried about me getting beat up and hurt, because I've always been attacked my whole life. But he invested in my self-defense. I went to a boxing camp. I did wrestling, all boys military school, and he paid for my karate training. And that's the only reason I'm alive, is because I was able to keep people from killing me. I'm not being dramatic. I don't know how many of you people have been attacked and how many people have been assaulted and raped and had hate crimes against you, but I don't get to hide my identity. Gay people, lesbians, they can hide their identity and blend in as either a man or a woman. And it can be ambiguous, and the hatred isn't easy to bring up. But as a transgendered woman, it's pretty much on the surface. People can see me and they can decide whether or not they like me or not. And in general, it's not so safe for me. And I don't leave the house if I don't have to, and I don't go places where there's a lot of cis people, and unless I'm with my daddy, a larger man who loves me and will support me, so I don't have to fight for myself. Even when attacked, the police treated me like I had done something wrong. They assaulted me, they stripped me and embarrassed me and humiliated me. They stuck me in a pen with other men, even though I was legally a female. And tormented me. For me, a daddy is safety against those things. Safety and security. Your daddy wouldn't let that happen to you. So, in my life, I wouldn't have gotten this far without the men that I consider daddies. And my mother, she's like, don't they get upset if you're calling each of them daddy? And I'm like, yeah, I think they do. I know Joe got upset about it, and Joe wanted to be daddy, but Joe's not here. Joe's not here. Joe doesn't pay my bills. Joe's had sex with me. You know, Joe likes to, you know, he loves my transsexuality, and he's been supportive of me all along. But he doesn't take care of me. There are men in my life that take care of me, and those men are my daddies. I don't know, I recorded this once and it was very poignant, and I cried, but it didn't record the sound. So everything I needed to say I probably got out already. The issue is that for me as a transgendered woman, I need a daddy. I need a man for me who loves me and can be responsible, who I can turn to for help and guidance and support. And I use that word to remind men, the men that love me, that I need their support, I need security, and I need them to be responsible caretakers of me, because I'm still a child. At 3 years into being transgendered, you know, I've got like an 8-year-old's boobs. You know, I've got a young girl's mentality. I'm growing up fast, but only as much as possible in the community, going out and being loved. It's really not easy, you know. But thanks to the support of my ex-wife and her family, and the few friends that stayed in my life, I've been able to make it. But most importantly, I've been able to make it because of my daddies. And you don't have to be sleeping with a daddy for that man to be like a daddy to you. My father-in-law, when I first tried to commit suicide, took me to the hospital, found suicide prevention services that would help me with my mental health issues. And he took me in. He found that information when he found out I tried to commit suicide. He took it upon himself. Even though he hadn't seen me cross-dressing and as the woman I was, and it had been not even a year since the divorce, he came down here, picked me up, and brought me to be taken care of. He sat in that lobby and waited as I was diagnosed severely mentally ill and gender identity disordered and given psychoactive drugs to keep me from going crazy. He was there for me. He's a daddy. He's my son's grandfather. He's a father to many. But he treated me like a daddy would. And I love him. I love him for taking care of me, as I do the other men that take care of me. There's not many, believe me, but they know who they are. And I wouldn't be where I am without them, without my daddy, without Keith, without Christopher, without Tim. I would have had my car impounded, I would have lost my house, I would have lost my mind. But their love and support and belief in me has kept me alive, has kept me in my house, has kept me from going crazy. So I want to thank my daddies, and if you don't have one, you should find one. Because or go ahead, take care of yourself, be equal, You pay for dinner instead of him. Not me. I expect my man to be my daddy and to care for me. And I wouldn't be with a man that I wouldn't trust with my child, who I wouldn't trust to raise a child with me. Because you shouldn't be in a relationship with somebody that you don't trust with what would be your child. Because sometimes I'm a child and I need to be taken care of. And I get that from my daddy. And the whole word daddy and everything it means. For me, looking up to my daddy, caring about my daddy, the type of love that is generated by the sense of having a daddy is unexplainable. But when you know somebody has your best interest in mind and who loves you and won't let bad things happen to you, that's the happiest feeling. And I don't have that anymore from my father. And I don't get that in the community. I get that from my daddies. And they're the ones that keep me afloat and keep me alive and keep me happy. So I love you. No crying this one. I hope that makes sense. That's me on daddies. I love you, daddy. Kisses. Kisses from Princess.